Okay, so today is the 10th, I think. Pretty sure it's the 10th. I'm telling you, my days are just running into it one after another. I'm pretty sure it's the 10th. And it's already, like, I have seen video after video after video. They're already on Joe about, I guess when he was vice president, that he had taken some classified stuff and took it to a play. Anyways, it's all in discovery at this point, you know, where they have found it and now they're going to make charges or whatever. It's like it's all over the place. So they're going to go in, like this will be the whatever takedown on him, you know, whatever's going to lead with Kamala too. And then already I saw in Congress was already, they said that they're voting and stuff on session of like what their plan is or something, whatever it's going to be. It's all a show, because I think that that's going to turn into a whole thing. They'll be voting on McCarthy and whatever's going to go down. Probably they'll just go and put Trump in real quick, and then I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go down. It's interesting to watch though, but boy, there's a lot happening. There's a lot in motion. And so today's Tuesday, I think. Yeah. Okay, because yesterday was Monday. I got paid on the 9th. So today's Tuesday, the 10th. So there's already a lot happening. Like, I don't know. I mean, they're going to have to be going fast. I keep hearing more and more about the 20th through the 22nd. So they're going to have to, you know, be moving fast. So I would think maybe some fireworks today. I don't know. It's pretty exciting. But one thing I was thinking, and I'm super serious about this because I can really see my my perspective being so different than so many people. And so I'm like, it's like I'm detached from this reality that is happening to so many people. Although I can have awareness of it and I can go in and look, I can be traumatized by the fucking horrible stories that I keep hearing, and just the stories of ignorance, you know, where they're still trying to participate in the system, and the system is bitch slapping them all over the place, and they're just like, what, why? It's like, yeah, you're gonna have to figure that one out on yourself. But you know, I have all of those things. I'm like, I'm some antisocial maniac, but that is where I can totally see my mission and the programming that you have behind your own mission, you know, your own programming, your own flight plan or whatever. And one thing that you know, because I keep seeing, I mean, so much trauma, you know, and sometimes I'm like, man, this is, you know, such a serious matter to so many people. I mean, people are dying right and left. I guess I just saw somebody, this person was really mad. I think they are homeless, and they were definitely indigenous, and they were speaking to a certain group, you could tell. And they were on the road, and they were talking about that they were in California during the storm. It's like, what? That part is why I got caught listening. Like, what in the hell? Why are you're where? There's wind 65 miles an hour, all this. They were already, I saw footage of Seattle. It was already so deep. It's like, there was a car on the street. It was mostly empty street. It was just water. There was a car on the street, but it was 3/4 way up the car. So however deep that is. And that's real hilly and shit, man. So maybe that's like in a low place. I would assume the higher ground would not be underwater like the other ground. So anyways, I don't know. But they showed the weather report every single day for the next 10 days. Rain. So they're getting hammered. But this woman who was speaking, and I know she was indigenous because she had the markings. She had, a lot of the people have like these tribal markings on their face that I see talking. That's, you know, where I would say they're elders or leaders or something. They're a leader in something. And so she was saying she had already heard that they did a mass wipeout of the homeless population. God, it gets me so emotional. It's so fucked, man. So see, I have emotions to this stuff. It's weird how much I'm like kind of detached in this other part. But this morning, it was like they were showing me, it's kind of like I'm an usher on the bridge to the next so I can't have the same experience through this as other people are having, because I'm ushering in the next thing. That's why I can see what's ahead. I'm not supposed to be looking at what's behind, but it's hard to experience it, you know. But man, it's it's very strange, you know, because I can see it, and I can see like all these people are in pain. This is the end of the world for so many people. This is the end. You know, I understand the game on a different level than so many people. Like, I know it's not a sad thing to leave this game. It's not a scary thing to leave this game. And I know, you know, when your role is over, just like in the movies, I mean, the movies always showed us, like, the person would go in and play a part, they'd leave that role, and the person still exists. As a matter of fact, they can go in and play other roles. As a matter of fact, they can have multiple roles out at the same time. So it's kind of representative of how it works in this soul world. I saw this interesting thing too, that one of those guys who explains the whole thing about the colostrum and the hormones and the serotonin and all of this stuff, and how everything is represented what we should be focused. They just drew our attention out, you know, like by creating Christmas, and like they drew our attention out to keep us from going within, because all of that stuff, it is so cool when you hear people explain that. Like, I've seen that other one with Jim Carrey explaining, and this is one of those kinds of things where he's like doing all these diagrams and explaining it and stuff. But he explains some more stuff that I hadn't seen. I just love those videos when they do those kinds of things. It's so interesting how things really work. And another thing too, that I, you know, because I could sit here and just, you know, completely lose a grasp on my reality, because everybody else's reality is so different than my own, that I could totally lose, you know, who I am in this whole process. And that, I think, is one of the big reasons why they had to keep doing all this stuff to make me stronger and strong in my own identity. Because I know, you know, I'm not crazy, and I understand completely mental illness comes from your losing the grasp of your reality. That's why, you know, they have these people who are gifted that can travel through other realms, have complete consciousness of other realms, and then they tell them they're schizophrenic and they need to take medication and something's wrong with them, so they lose grasp on their reality. They get confused by this reality, that reality, because the reality they're experiencing is the real reality, their real reality. And, you know, it's all just this constant messing with your perspective and your perception. And, you know, as you grow and you expand, it is trippy how your like your perspective, your perception changes. I was just noticing this morning, you know, when I was taking a shower, which there was something that I was going to say about the water thing. I can't remember. But, you know, when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at these implants, and I'm just like, God, I just want, I can't tell you how often I'm just like, I think daily, it's like, come on, I want these rocks off of me. And it's just crazy, because I was sitting there thinking, you know, the perspective of them on me, and how out of balance that looks on my body. And back then, when I would have gotten them, I would have been more defensive when people would say, like, that just looks weird. You look like you're going to tip over or something. And how that doctor was like, oh, we all gathered around and put in all the different sizes. And we were like, that's the one that looks right. It's like, and when I look at myself now, it's like, how in the hell did you ever think that that looked right? It's like, man, and it's so uncomfortable. So anyways, I can't wait, but it's just weird. It's like your perspective of you, yourself, your reality, it all changes throughout this process. And, but when I was listening to that one guy do this whole breakdown into 3 levels of like the celestial mind, the terrestrial mind, whatever, the 3 levels of, or you go in, then the whole, like it is all with this mastering your hormones, and it is this raising your consciousness beyond where you get stuck, where you've been hurt in your heart, so you get stuck down in the lower chakras. You've been wounded. And like I said, you carry all those wounds in your lower chakras. And so when you are holding in all of that pain, your experience is very different because you're not reaching your potential. You're held back, held down, but you're held down by you. That's where it gets so trippy, is people think they're being held down by something else, but they're literally being held down by themselves. And oh, I just remembered what I was going to say, because you can see like how it has like this weird greasy, but that's not why I put it back. I put it back because it's, I mean, not only is it just coming out and coming out, it hurts. My hair hurts. There's so much coming out, and it keeps doing this weird kind of thing. Like, I think it's something with the frequency, what they're doing, but I feel like my hair is totally under attack. So, because usually I love brushing my hair and combing it. It feels so good. Oh my God, it hurts so bad. It feels like each hair is a guitar string that's about to come out of my head. That's just like, yeah, I just feel positive it's frequency. But that's what I was going to say. Those two things when I was taking a bath. And it's weird how, I don't know if it's, there's a difference in how it dries. Like if I use shampoo or if I use the apple cider vinegar. But now, right now, it seems like it's something with the water. Like there's something there. I know 100% there's something in our water. I mean, I know the whole time there's some shit in our water that's not supposed to be there, but they put some more shit in the water, and I just keep seeing more and more and more talking about, like, you know, them putting in these different like proteins or something, these protein markers or something off of animals, you know, to do these concoctions inside of us to see how, you know, what happens. And you know what was weird is yesterday I was looking on YouTube or something, I don't know, probably checking my views or looking to see if there's comments or something. And when I go on, there's always like a couple of videos when I go onto that app. And this one was in the shorts thing, and it was this totally mutated looking woman, and then she was holding a baby. And so then I was like, what this is about? And so I clicked on it, and she was talking about, you know, the acceptance of deformities and stuff like that. And her baby was quite, like the woman had her own unusual characteristics, but the baby's was a whole nother level. Like I didn't even seem like it could close its eyes. It was like the eyeballs were outside of the sockets. And so it was like, it was weird looking for sure. And they had some other facial anomalies, but you know, she was saying that, and all I could think of is like, this is the fucking mutations. This is what they have done. They keep mutating our DNA, all these things where people think people are being deformed with this mutation, that mutation, this deformity, that deformity. When you go back and you see from the fucking time you're born that they start injecting you full of shit to see what's going to happen. You know, like, oh, well, let's see. Does she turn into a mouse? What happens? Does her baby turn into a mouse? Does 10 babies away turn into a mouse? Do they develop skills? Can they sniff through walls? Like, what the fuck? These people are psycho. So I just keep seeing so many videos. And the one with the goat leg lady, she was, and that one is weird because it's all these women out there with feathers and smoke and doing all this ceremony on her. And she's older, so I don't know if she has to get it done all the time, or maybe if certain things happen, or fuck, maybe she woke up with goat legs. I don't fucking know. Maybe the whole thing, you know, who knows? It could be a scene out of a fucking movie for all I know. People do weird shit on the internet. And then this woman, though, she was, she seemed to be a real woman, but I mean, people could do CGI weird shit. There's so much stuff going on right now with Joe and Joe's face. It was so funny too. I just saw this woman doing this whole breakdown, And she's showing all the things that are the new Joe, the mask Joe, because they're all different. They all wear it a little different. Like the one with the jacked up mask is so funny. So many people. But then when you go in the comments, everybody's like, mask malfunction. So everybody gets like he's wearing a mask. But it is so funny because it's like the nose part's way up here and the eyes are like he just didn't pull it on all the way. And I feel like it's done on purpose, 100%. But this woman, when she's doing this breakdown to show, you know, the ears are different, the nose is different, the age spots are different, like she's going through it all. And then when she gets to the end, she goes, but both of them are very punchable faces, don't you think? And I start cracking up. I was like, yeah, they are. It's just like, especially with the more stuff that's going to come out, with the stuff that's going to come out right now, what it is coming out, like the confidential shit that he was stealing while he had access, and then taking it to his private location and then selling it to certain people who wanted intel. Like he was going to, the stuff that's going to come out, but how our whole fucking political system was involved. You know, our whole political system is sold out. You know, America, while they're, you know, telling us just go to fucking work. I was sitting there this morning too thinking about like with the clothes and stuff, because I have such a significant memory about when everything used to be made in America, and then when they switched it and they kept saying everything was going to be better because it was going to be cheaper, and trying to market that with the people, but it was closing down all of the, you know, people who really put time and effort into making their shit. And then it's just so weird, because if the human beings would have been more aware at the time, it would have been more, well, like, how are you making it cheaper then? Who's making your shit that's making it cheaper? So then you realize, like, oh, they're slaves. They're slaves making our things, so it's cheaper, but they're allowed to do it in China, so, or Turkey, or wherever. All the places that now say where our clothes are made are all places that just, the horror stories that go on. I've heard such horrible stories. Like the one, even, it seems like it was like Istanbul or something, and it was a big factory one. They would not let the people go home. It's like you go and they don't let you leave, and they'll beat you. You're not allowed to go to the bathroom. You get like a penny a day or something. And that one, it seemed like that the people had been there days or something, and the building collapsed on them. And the building, and I've heard other ones were fires, because everything is hazardous. They just stick them like out in a shed out, you know, like that's another thing they get away with in these other countries. You know, those other countries were just dismantled before this one, you know. You just look and you see the processes of how it happened, and the reason why they always go for these darker places. They're always attacking the indigenous people. When black people were saying we're being treated different by them, people should have just all been listening, because it was true. They really were trying to create their perfect white race. That wasn't just fucking Hitler. Those are goddamn Nazis, and they're still running the goddamn place. Still injecting people, still doing their fucking science experiments on everybody. It's fucking bullshit. They run the pharmaceutical companies, they run the fucking hospital, they run everything. When people sit there saying like, oh, they're so worried about the Jews or whatever, like, you fucking need to worry about these motherfuckers. And I don't know what obviously they all are not like, even if they're Jewish, they're not practicing like some sort of faith-based religion. They're, well, I guess Satanists are the same, but they are much more about this 3D kind of, you know, let's go, you know, eat a baby together and burn down and fucking whatever, to give to the gods so that they give us all the money, and then they go around doing the evil works. And that was one thing too I noticed this morning. And this stood out, it's funny too, it was in the bathroom, because it was when I was a little kid, it was in the bathroom. But I was doing something, I was doing the laundry, and it was something real simple too. And so I started putting in the soaps and stuff, and then there was one that started telling me to put in bleach. And then the other one, I started going, no, don't put in bleach. You've got stuff in there that you can't bleach. Because there was some stuff in there that I was like, well, maybe bleach would, you know, be better to to clean it, because when I was getting the soap, it was right next to it. So then I had one side that was telling me, yeah, do the bleach. But the other one jumped in and started explaining, no, don't do the bleach. You gotta do this or that. And so I was like, it's so funny when they started doing that. But I had just saw this. And this, see, everyone who's like me trips out when they start finding out everybody's not like them. Because this isn't the first one I've seen of a girl doing this. One of the girls I've seen doing it, though, is one that is blank inside. And she didn't know that there's people who had motion pictures happening in our heads and stuff. So, and that we can hear and all that stuff. So anyways, this was a girl who was more like me. And so she was talking about some conversations she had with some people. She said she was working with this girl, and this girl was having all these problems or whatever. I can't remember the whole thing. But she said, well, why don't you just go in and, you know, what are they telling you inside? Like, what does the good one say and what does the bad one say? Like, and she said, what are you talking about? She goes, you know, the ones inside of you that are talking, that tell you what to do. What are they telling you? What's the options? And she goes like, I don't know what you're talking about. So in that whole conversation, that she found out this girl has nothing going on in there. She doesn't hear voices. She doesn't see things. She doesn't understand, you know, all that stuff. And so one of the people, because she had two of these different conversations with these two people, and both were the same. And she's just like, whoa, this is so weird. So she kept questioning. I'm like, so what do you do? Like, if you're sitting around and say you got to sit somewhere for 3 hours, what do you do? Like, what does your brain do? And she said, nothing. You'll just sit there and wait. And the girl was like, what? And even in the comments, there was a lot of people like, you know, you don't think about anything? You don't converse in your head? It's trippy. There's people who don't have any conversation in their head. And those of us who do, it's very strange. But that is, this girl too was weirded out by it too. Because I thought everybody had this. So that's what always weirded me out. Like, how do people keep making such bad decisions and doing such weird shit? And why are they all in such denial? Like, other things exist. Like, it's so weird. But now it makes sense, because people like me, we know other things exist. People like me, you're talking to them. You're talking to the universe. You're talking to ghosts. You're talking to aliens. You're talking to spirits. You're talking to entities. You're talking to plants. You're talking to like everything, and everything is talking back. And but you know, it's part of your connection to reality. And reality is so based on your perception. And if your perception is all dealing with lower chakra stuff, you know, I mean, there's a purpose to it. It's not like there's no purpose to it. You're here to heal. You're here to grow. You're here to expand. So there's a purpose to have all your chakras blocked. But it's you, the intelligent being, the awakened soul, the aware being, that has to go in and remove the blockages themselves. You have to go in and look through your trauma, look through your pain and suffering, find the jewel so that you can release it. And then each time you move up through the chakras, each thing that you heal feels so much better. And that's the motivator. I've seen several people now say, like when a pain thing comes, a trigger or whatever, that they look forward to it too, because they see that everything you heal, you just feel so much better, so much lighter. So just, oh my God, it's just such a difference of going through your life, carrying the burdens and pain that, you just trudge through. Like, it's so hard and it's so miserable. And then when you're forced to have to face yourself, face your healing, and then you just start release, and it just starts becoming lighter and lighter and lighter. You just feel like, but it does detach you in a lot of ways from the reality, because as you heal, you begin, well, for me, I mean, my guides were very much like, that's when I started seeing, oh, this is a video game. We're just in a game. This isn't fucking real. And people are all like, ah. It's like, man, this isn't real. And, everything outside of this is real. Like, life is everything outside of what people think is all there is. It's like there's so much more. This is so limiting. And then when you try and talk to them, then they think, you know, it just sounds so crazy and mental. But that is where immediately, as soon as somebody starts thinking that something sounds mental and crazy, then you know they're just stuck in their pain. They're holding themselves back. Their soul's got other business going on, and that is why these fucking controllers want to keep people so distracted. They don't want them to come here and do their purpose and do their healing and grow and evolve. You know, they want to keep their slaves coming into this incarnation and, you know, keeping their reality afloat. So they're all, you know, living high on the hog, and then since they understand, you know, that it's, you know, a game or whatever, and they sit around eating babies and all their sick ass shit. But they're so detached, I think, you know. I mean, when you really think about it, some of those souls have not left this planetary system, this reality. They've figured out how to just rotate their consciousness into another body or keep their avatar alive by getting parts from other people and drinking baby blood and shit like that. So some of these people have been on this planet like so fucking long, and they're so out of balance. They're so fucking she's been keeping me up, boy. And she gets very, I don't know, yeah, you know, even having that bedroom door back there shut, she gets very like tense about it because she, you know, she's a guard. So she goes through the house. Like if she gets up, she has to go through the house, go check every room. And so now with the room being shut, she just keeps being like, so I don't know, every little thing can bother her lately. She's in such a mood. I just keep calling her Grumbles. Okay, Grumbles. I just keep telling her, though, you know, I'm hoping that bed gets here today. I just feel like that is going to be so, I think she's going to feel so much better being able to lay on that with the vibration. I'm really hoping that it does do some of the, supposedly with the frequency and the vibration, it can I don't know if it would regrow, fix things. I don't know how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to repair damage. So, you know, but it's supposed to also be very comforting and comfortable, and animals really like it. And to me, when I was reading this stuff about it, I was like, oh, this is like what it's going to be like for a med bed. So I really have hopes, because it's all by frequency and vibration and stuff, that we will be able to heal ourselves and move ourselves out of this reality where I have these rocks on my chest, because then I keep trying it too all the time, to just see myself without them, because there is such a thing about, you know, we are in creation. And then when you want a certain thing to be, and it's not like there's like other, especially in your physical, certain things, then you can ask them. You can say, you know, what is it I'm holding back? Like, why do I carry this pain in my shoulder? Like, why is this pain here? What do I need to recognize? What do I need to heal? What do I need to see? And what's trippy is so many aches and pains and stuff like that are past lives, past life injuries. And then you have to go back and look through that past life so that you can acknowledge the injury. You know, it could be physical, but there would be something that probably led up to it that you need to process. And that, so you cling on to that injury because you still have that open. It's like an open file. You know, like on your phone, like on my iPhone, like if you go into Safari and you have all those open pages. And so it's kind of like as a soul, you have all these open pages. And so you need to go in and process and go through the different, okay, so that's that. Okay, so go through, process, heal that, go to the next one, process, heal that. And that's where when you go in and you start doing that, you'll find a theme through your lives. You'll find a connection and attachment. I saw this thing yesterday, this guy talking, and he was like, in your group, your soul group or whatever, you have like 15 souls that you come in to do your contracts, and so you have 15 souls that you remember and recognize, and then the rest are I was like, because I think it's more than 15, because on some level we all know each other. We may not all go into all sorts of incarnations together, and we may, because the universe is so vast. I mean, even in this place that we think of as just Earth, I mean, there's so many realities just here that a soul can go and incarnate into. And that's not even counting the rest of the fucking universe. Like, you've got a fucking universe just in you, and you expand out into everything else. So it's like endless, the amounts of possibilities. So I think all souls, I mean, we all come from the same place. So the same source is where we all are a part of. We're all in the same system. We're all the nerves and the cells. It's like, yeah, my cells in my toe may not be as familiar with the cells in my shoulder, but they're all of the same body. So they all have the same presence of mind or spirit or, something. There's something about it. And so so on some level, all spirits that incarnate at the same time as you are all there for a common experience. Just like what I've said in some of these places that we're going to have such horrible traumas that were going to happen, like Iran, and like right now over by San Francisco, like it's groups of people that came in to go through that experience together. And there will be some that will come in to be the rescuers. They all have certain roles to play, but they come in as a group to go through that together. So even if they only recognize 15 people, the whole group of them, it doesn't happen by accident. Like, oh, accidentally we all ended up at the same place. No, that's not how it goes. It's by design. It's by creation. And there's a purpose. That's the thing. Everybody's got to just start looking at life as the purpose behind everything happening, instead of things are happening to you or whatever. There's a purpose behind it. And, it's part of the game. But, they just want you to lose the game, basically. So they don't give you all the rules. They don't give you all the tools, the benefit, none of it. It's up to the soul. But the soul is only going to go at its own level. It's only going to be able to master what it can master. And but you got to remember, all the souls are here to play different roles. Not all roles are here for the same thing. It's like, like the benefit of like my hand picking up the food and putting it in my mouth benefits my whole entire body. So it's not just my hand that will get the benefit, or my mind, or my mouth, or my tongue, or my stomach. It's the whole system. So it's kind of the same thing. Like when the different roles, the different souls come into play, the roles, the cells of the solar system, then they are playing a role so that it benefits all. Like, I think I've explained that a lot of times. One thing too is I want to make sure, like, to say to y'all, because like I've said before, it's kind of like we've got our own little group right here. And I know sometimes it seems like I'm saying things that are like, okay, but you've already talked about this. Okay, you've explained this a few times and stuff like that. But just keep in mind that y'all have been with me. Y'all understand this stuff, but we're about to have a big group that's going to come in that doesn't understand it. That's going to be. So that's why some of this stuff I'm going back and re-explaining things again, because that's what they keep showing me. Like, all along they showed me I was talking to people in the future. It's been fun to have all of you guys along this ride, and I'm very curious to see how this is all going to play out. It's very exciting too. Like, man, it would be fucking so exciting if the Banks and Joe, it all goes in one day. Oh, it would be really hard for some people, because there's so many people. Like, oh my gosh. This is one lady I just saw talking about going to the dentist, taking her kids to the dentist. And then they had it marked to put the fluoride. And she said, I don't want fluoride on them. And so the secretary said, okay, we'll take it off. So then the hygienist came out, and then she wanted to put sealants And then the kids have no cavities. And she's like, well, they don't even have any cavities. Why would I don't want any of that stuff. Why would I need those? What's the benefit? And what is the chemicals? Like, what are you putting on their mouth? It's got fluoride in it. And the hygienist got so mad at the woman. How dare you? You know, we don't use poison here. We're not using anything poisonous. I don't know the chemical compound breakdown of this whole stuff we're putting in, but we're not doing anything wrong, kind of thing. Like, getting mad at the woman. And then the woman was just so like she was confused, she was outraged, she was angry, like all of those different things. But that's the process of leaving the system, of having to see, like, you know, what the fuck? And like I said, I quit going to the dentist a year and a half ago or something, and I went every 6 months to get my teeth cleaned, and I haven't gone, because to me it's fucking barbaric. It's like, it's just another one of these barbaric things that make us drive around in fucking jalopies. They make us fucking go in and do these barbaric things. They fill us full of chemicals. And we're just all here, you know, in our own pain, and so many people in suffering. And man, that woman, the homeless woman, saying, you know, they just took out all those people. Man, I knew it. And man, how many? And their storm has moved down now. It's down by LA, and I saw in, I think it's down like in Ventura County, that is going to be been slammed today. And my brother's the LA fireman. I'm like, man, but you know, he's got to wake up, because he's like, so I don't know what trauma things he's gonna have to be facing. And like, on top of that, like, they come in with this motherfucking earthquake. Man, I knew California was gonna get hit hard. I don't think it's over. I mean, they're still on the books for 10 more days of fucking nonsense. So, fuck. I feel bad for them. And how many of these fucking homeless people. This woman was really mad because she was yelling at the churches. Like, how fucking bullshit. You got those mega churches all over in California, and you're not opening your churches up to the homeless people. You're letting them be killed in the streets like fucking animals. And then I saw this other thing. It was something like a government paper, whatever. And this was older. And yesterday I just watched Wuthering Heights, which I'll just say real quick, man. I did not remember it was that, and the bluffs were over the moors. So I want to be at the bluffs over the ocean. But man, that story was traumatic. I did not remember all that story. And I really want to see this new movie, Emily. And it is the woman who wrote that. And her biography story seems really interesting. I felt like I could really relate to her. I can't think of her last name right now. I can see it, but I can't see it well enough to say it. But with the older movie thing, let me think what I was about to say. Because it was the homeless thing, the church thing. Oh, damn it. God, that drives me crazy. Well, anyways, the church is not letting the homeless people come in, you know, should be really revealing to a lot of Christians, like, you know, who these people are. I mean, there's so many more things coming out about stuff with the churches and the money, and I mean, they were always a front, you know. It was a way to just keep. I mean, that's not to say every single profession. I mean, all of them have been a front. I mean, every single fucking one of them, and every single one of them have had good people that wanted to go in and do something good, but every one of them, you're surrounded by fucking evil. Because this place is full of evil. So no matter if you know, I mean, people who wanted to go into, what is that called? Where you go in and you do, like, have like the UN, but it's not that. I know my daughter wanted to do it really bad when one of my daughters, when she was in high school, And then she got in a relationship and blew it off. But it was, a lot of kids wanted to do it, go to other countries and help them build and, you know, participate in other cultures and help them and show things that you know and learn things that they know and stuff. And there's been all sorts of missionary groups and stuff like that that have gone, and even people who want to go do that. You know, it's all about traffic and harvest and taking, and it's all about making us weak. And in the process of making the humans weak, they've just created so much doubt. Like, humans have forgot to believe in themselves because they forgot they have purpose. They forgot that there was more meaning to life. So then they've just, you know, they're all here just suffering. So I'm, you know how excited I am for this switch to happen, everything to flip right side up, because I'm so fucking sad. It's like you can drown in the fucking evil. Everything is with this inversion, and it's trippy how the sky is even showing it now. Like, when this thing flips, I think there is gonna be a dramatic physical thing besides the storms and stuff. Like where that guy said it's gonna all of a sudden be like the whole screen is cleared. You know, the whole video game stops for a minute, and we're all just sitting there like, we're just the energy sitting there waiting, like, what's coming on the screen now? Like, oh, you know, so I don't know. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna for sure be dramatic, just because I keep seeing all these crazy things, like this other planet yesterday up there, and I put I said something about that, and so many people come in like, yeah, the moon and the sun are not in where they're supposed to be. There's so many weird things up above us. It is for sure showing. Oh, and this was cool too. This was some sort of footage. I can't remember where it was, but all the people were out getting footage that the cars were stopping on the freeway. It was a giant, giant ship, and it was coming across, and it kept doing this weird kind of light. Like, you couldn't make out it was like a ship as much as, like, you had to know, like, okay, that's definitely, because it was just this weird light, and it's traveling and going, and all the cars and stuff on the freeway are stopping, and whoever's videoing it could see down past that, like they were looking at the sky, and then they drop down and go, look at all the cars, everyone's seeing it, and everybody was stopping. And so I don't know, it's gonna keep being more and more blatant, and you know, it's not gonna stop. There's just so much more stuff coming out with the giants. Like, there's fucking giants. To me, it's like the giants are not gonna keep on letting y'all play this game. Like, everything is coming out to be seen. You know, it's like it's like they put us inside of this bubble and told us what the world was, and we all stayed in that bubble, like just like The Village. I swear to God, that M. Night's whatever, and we're all in there. Keep us safe. Oh, everything out there is gonna get us. We're so scared. And then now all of a sudden we're gonna get to see everything that was around us and the magic, and that it was not scary. They were just trying to keep us trapped in the bubble. And so now we get to go out and really experience the world. And, you know, for sure, there is going to be a big change in how we travel. That is something for sure. And I don't know if it's going to go, like, I know David Wilcock, a couple of years ago, he was already working on the patent for the floating, what are those colors called? The air floating cars. I can't think of what I think he seems like he called them something like with that skateboard thing. But anyways, those air floating cars. And then with the, I'm kind of curious about with the towers, if they're going to turn those into Tesla towers, because, you know, they're going to take things, but man, there's a lot of these places that are going to be gone. Like, I think there's parts of, they're going to be underwater that aren't going to come back from under the water. Like, because that's what they do in a reset. I mean, it's like they clear the stage. Like, so that's why, you know, people get all freaked out about the mud floods. Well, they should tell us, you know, but they don't, because they keep us in that bubble, and then we're dependent on them. Please keep us safe, keep us safe. We're so scared of everything. And so it's, you know, manipulative control. But the coming out, once this bubble bust, and see it, for so many of us, the veil has already been lifted. We see. And luckily, you know, even for the collective, there was people like me who were always able to see through it. And we weren't hiding who we were. We weren't telling other people, pretending like this stuff wasn't real. No fucking way. I don't care how many people laughed at me when I said Bigfoot was real. I fucking knew it was. I knew the fucking giants were real. I knew the fucking fairies. I knew all that shit was real. I don't care how many people laughed at me about it. You know, for then all the people come out and lead you the way. Well, I was in denial about it, but now I'm saying it's real. So you guys come on this journey with me, and I'm going to lead you. It's like, I don't know. Everybody's selling something, I swear. We've all got some marketing thing. I don't know. To me, I think it's just about having fun with the whole thing, but that is like that disconnect to my thing. You know, when they're telling me stuff like, God, I can go in and watch my own TikToks and just crack up, because I know it's not me saying it. It's them telling me what to say, so I can go in and watch my mouth talk and say stuff, and it just cracks me up. Like, I don't know, it just cracks me up. So anyways, I'm really excited to see what's going to go down this week. I hope today. Fuck yes. I really want something really dramatic. Like, I swear, I wish they would do something like do an arrest on Joe, and then all of a sudden another Joe would walk out, and another Joe, and another Joe, and they'd all walk out, and we'd have all these Joes standing there, and then they'd start pulling off their masks. I think that would be hilarious. That would be a good scene in the movie. I don't know how these scenes are going to start playing out, but I'll tell you what, I can't wait until everything flips right side up. So, but that is the thing. Keep in mind is when they're telling me of things to talk about, that's what they keep telling me. Is that there's stuff with the people who are going to just be trying to figure things out. You know, some of the stuff that they're talking is talking to them. So it's not like they're talking to y'all thinking like, oh my gosh, these people just don't get it. Like, I think there's something more, because it's very trippy. I mean, look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers. Just watch how things play out. And, you know, just know you have a purpose. We all have a purpose. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.